On one of True Crime's Rocket Science's recent videos, he says, Chris Watts, Anadarko co-worker spills the beans on Nicole Kessinger. This is the same co-worker who we find out is not a co-worker, and it was all one big scam. You know, True Crime Rocket Science, he's not the person that he appears to be, but I'll tell you about that another time. He knows how to dangle the carrot, and he knows how to get the views. And he's been doing it for quite a while, so he's gotten the hang of it, you know. But I just love this title that he's put on his video. Chris Watts, Anadarko co-worker spills the beans on Nicole Kessinger. Now, this so-called co-worker was nothing more than a scam. He didn't exist. It was a scam. And yet he calls himself True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. And yet he spent 12 minutes talking about someone who is basically a total con artist. Scam, sham, alert. Now, by the time I release this podcast, most of you who had heard about this interview with a supposed co-worker of Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger, most of you who had heard about this interview would now know that this so-called co-worker was nothing but a con artist and a scammer and a liar. But it just goes to show you that what I've been saying about the truth not mattering on YouTube when it comes to the Watts case, you know, when it comes to the Watts case, it's truth. I mean, no one cares about the truth. People will jump on any story to reinforce the conspiracy theories, particularly the conspiracy theories about other people being involved, and particularly about NK, because I know a lot of you believe that NK was involved and you fell for this guy's story, hook, line, and sinker. And that's the thing about the Watts case. It's not about the truth. It's about what gets the clicks. Because this guy was getting all this publicity and people were writing comments under Plunder's channel and other channels saying, hey, this guy is the legit. Even Plunder was saying this guy is legit. He was crying. Plunder fell for it, every word he said. People on her channel fell for every word he said. I actually got into this very, very late. I didn't even know this person even existed until, for some reason, I was on Jewels of Thought channel, and she was talking about this co-worker who she didn't know was a scam artist at the time, saying how it's reinforced her ideas that other people were involved and this co-worker is really credible and has all this information. And I was listening to Jewels of Thought thinking, oh my God, she's fallen for the conspiracy theories. What a gullible woman. She's just trying to push the conspiracy theories for views and clicks. And then she put out another video a few minutes later after I'd watched that video. And she said, it turns out that this guy that I thought was really credible, who I was believing in, turns out that he's nothing more than a scam. But that's the thing with the Watts case, that people are so quick to believe the conspiracy theories without evidence. Why would you believe somebody when you haven't got evidence? I'm just going to read some of the comments that were written under Plunder's video before it was found out that this guy who claimed that he knew Nicole Kessinger, he was a co-worker of hers and Chris, he was saying how Nicole Kessinger had a satanic book on her desk, and people were really falling for this con artist. So I'm just going to read some of the comments. Here it says, I think he tells the truth about NK. I do think she has a relationship with demons. She was involved. CW became obsessed, addicted to NK. Her influence directly affected his actions. There's another one saying, I've been saying this the whole time. NK targeted Shanann on FB. I think Dad is a Freemason. She's a devil worshipper. She believes in satanic rituals. Another person said, look, another person stating CW wasn't the only one involved. oh, he said NK didn't go to work that day. It was late and she didn't clock in. That guy has a lot of info. Well, that guy turns out that he's a total scammer, total con artist. And 50% of the people who are really, really interested in the Watts case fell for it. And it just goes to show you what people will fall for without any evidence, without any proof. Apparently, I didn't get to watch this interview because it seems to have been, I can't find it. I'm looking for it and I can't find it. Apparently, this guy was breaking down in tears, and Jules of Thought really thought he was credible. She put this video up talking about how she'd always been convinced that other people were involved, and this co-worker has solidified her opinions. She deleted that when she found out that this guy who was claiming to be the co-worker of NK and Chris Watts, she deleted that video when she found out it was all a sham. But I had already recorded what she was saying because I couldn't believe what she was saying. It was total. I thought she was talking total rubbish. And, whether you believe that other people were involved or not, that is up to you. I mean, people should be able to believe what they want. I don't expect everyone to believe what I believe. I believe that Chris Watts is the only person involved in this. There is a possibility that NK might have said something to him about, not wanting all his baggage. But unless somebody can show me actual proof that other people were involved, I will never believe that. I'm not saying that other people weren't involved. What I'm saying is that unless somebody can give me actual proof, solid proof, I'm not going to go around accusing anyone. This is another comment from somebody else after they'd heard this interview. Hearing what was said about NK being a devil worshipper, it makes some of the mystery of this case come alive. That would explain the evil presence in the house. The house is haunted for sure. Someday I hope we can hear the truth. I mean, these are comments made because people fell for the idea, for the notion that this guy was a co-worker of Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts. And it turns out that it was a total scam. Why is it that people in the Watts case are so readily, they're so ignorant, they're so readily able to believe hogwash without having any proof of anything? This is what I don't understand. I mean, if someone says something, regardless of their behavior or regardless of, regardless of if they're, crying or whatever, I do my research. I try and find the proof. It just goes to show you that when it comes to the Watts case, people are willing to believe anything, particularly if it's about conspiracy theories, particularly if it's about conspiracy theories about other people being involved. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was hearing from Plunder and Jules of Thought. I would have thought both of these people had more sense than to just believe somebody who claims to be a co-worker. Anyone can claim to be anything. And saying that Nicole Kessinger had a satanic Bible. So many people believed and bought this con artist, bought this story. I put this podcast out there just before Christmas, just to remind people, be mindful. Don't fall for everything that you hear. Not everything that you hear is true. Just be mindful, be open-minded. Yes, you can have your opinions, you can have your theories, but don't just fall for any con artist, any scammer that comes out and says something that does, that performs, crying and emotions and says that their wife was a friend of Shanann and all that kind of stuff. Don't fall for the conspiracy theories. It's very easy to, have the ability to look for proof. Have the wherewithal to look for proof. Don't just fall for what someone tells you.